very good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to our second hour this Wednesday morning. Leo ni siku ya clinic ya wale ambao wanapendana, relationship clinic. And we want to pick up from where we left off last week. The relationship clinic is where we talk about issues, relationship, focusing on marriages, helping us to build stronger marriages. As believers, our marriages must set the pace. When we align our marriages to the Word of God, then marriage works because it is God who designed marriage, and when done its way, it works. Last week, we began a conversation looking at challenges that marriages are facing in this generation. And we didn't quite finish, so we want to get back to where we left it off last week. In studio with me once again this week, Pastors Barnabas Achoki and his wife Grace Achoki from Two Sheep Solutions. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
You're well?
Thank you. We are well, thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
Maybe we can do a bit of a recap for the sake of the person who did not join us last week. I know last week we mentioned several things. We talked about roles have changed.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe you can remind us one or two things we said about that.
Yeah, we talked about just in these modern times, the roles have kind of like become, the boundaries are not very clear.
Yes.
We have moved from a place where women were traditionally homekeepers, stayed at home, the men went together. But we are now in a state where both can go together, or sometimes it's the woman who goes together. And the man, may be at home. So then how do we still maintain those traditional roles in these modern times? I think that has been a big challenge, because and we talked about it last week, that the man is still expecting the woman to play the role that he saw his mother play. Yet this woman that he's now married to, they go out together, and maybe she even comes after many hours after he comes back home. We talked about how, in weddings they're still being, we hear this common advice that akikuja nyumbani umempikia, umemchemshia maji, amepata chai, not realizing that the woman is becoming, it's you now, the man who should be, sometimes will be, may need to make the tea and, welcome the wife coming back home. So that's become a challenge, because how then do we now play the role of the man being the head, while, the woman is now more empowered? I think those are some of the things that we talked about, and so how do we then navigate around that? But again, I think we were able to be reminded from the scriptures that the roles remain. You see,
roles remain.
The roles remains. Now, the responsibilities, the things that we do may change, but the role has to be there. It remains the same. The Bible says the husband is the head of the home, and wives submit to your own husbands. So that still should be how the divine order, though things have changed, and that means that the man cannot change the diaper, that means the man cannot help in the kitchen, because the wife is also helping in bringing in income.
You also talked about technology.
Yes, thank you. We talked about technology and how that affects us today. Just the things that we see, the media, things that now we can communicate with, especially in the area of the phones, the screens, that being a major problem in our marriages today. How we need to we need to guard ourselves from those things that can destroy our marriages and destroy the relationship between us. So if you're using your phone, it's a good thing, yes, but in moderation, so that you're not allowing it to take, you're not putting pouring all the energy there, instead of pouring the energy between the two of you. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we can communicate with our loved ones who are out of the country, out of town, out of, wherever they are. But then we need to also guard that space. And we also talked about how that same phone or the screen can also cause us to fall in love with other people. Bring in relationships that are not supposed to come in. Defiling the marriage bed. So just take heed again, so that this tool that was meant for communication and is very good for us is not the one that is going to separate us or bring division between us. So how that it helps, but then use it for what it's meant to be used for. Yes.
I think it's also brought in. I love what you said, because one of the challenges I'm seeing is comparison, because the screens have become a window into the lives of other people.
Yeah.
Whether what is portrayed is real or fake is not the issue. The issue is that we see it and we keep wondering, why can't I be like that?
Yes.
Why is my marriage not like that?
Yes.
Why am I not being taken for holiday?
That's true.
I remember there's a day somebody bought a Range Rover for the wife.
Yes.
And it was all over social media. And the husbands were saying, umetupatia pressure. It's just like the joke the DP was making the other day.
Yes.
Telling the president, when you were in the States,
Yes.
we saw you holding your wife's hand, and us, we were given pressure in our homes.
Yes.
It's because now we have a window into other people's
Yes.
lives, and we become dissatisfied with what we have.
Yeah. And see, that Jemo, that's what again is. This is actually, it was May. It was a mental health month, and so this is part of what is contributing to mental health issues. Because we then become dissatisfied with ourselves. We become dissatisfied in a marriage. Like you're saying, the woman is seeing this. This guy has bought the wife a Range Rover, and and the guy is just struggling,
Yes.
and so that then puts a lot of pressure on the man himself, and so and that pressure then can come into the marriage, the comparisons, what we are seeing there. So there's pressure, profile yako, all those things. Some people are very private, and so and so the wife is putting pressure, and those are the issues now that are bringing a lot of conflict within the marriage. How come he hasn't put me in his profile, or my pictures are not there,
And those are just, those little things that start off like it's a joke.
Yeah.
And then it just grows and grows, because anything that you feed grows. So it's just those little things, you didn't do this or you didn't do this, but you're not really, it's not a need at that time, but it's a competition, because you're seeing, we went to so-and-so's house and we saw that big screen. Why are we still with this small screen? Of course, I mean, whether you're watching it from a big screen or a small screen, you're still watching something.
Yes.
But then the pressure is when people come to my house. How are they going to look at me? They'll think like I got married and we are not where we need to be. So now we borrow money, we get money and do all those things to impress people who don't even care about us.
Wow.
And if that doesn't happen, then between a couple, what happens is that you begin to start doubting yourself, looking down at yourself, regretting why you got into this marriage and all that. And before you know it, you're going through depression. Because you're not getting what you need to get. You're not living in the standard of other people. You're looking down upon yourself. But do we take stock and say that we may not have that flat big screen, which is good. It is good. It's not like those things are not good, or that big car. Do we take stock and say that may not be our portion right now, but there's something that we are able to communicate. We are able to do. There are some things that are still working out. He's able to take me out for that mandazi. It may not be, this place, but at least we are having, he may be able to maybe he's taking me out for a walk. Or maybe he's helping me change the diaper, or he's helping me do this. So those little things. So a lot of times we look at the negatives, and that brings us to that place of depression. But can we look at the positives? What is working? Those little things.
I think it's more. The pressure is more. For me, it's not even the things you go and see, because now they're in your screen. You don't have to go to somebody's house. You don't have to see something. It's just right before you. And it may not even, sometimes it's the things portrayed there. You see, marriages go through seasons. So we might not be in a good season, but see, my Jema me post hapo wako na Maureen huko Dubai, wanajienjoy, and now Grace is putting pressure, or start saying, look, no, this is our marriage.
But then it's even taking me to Dubai.
It can even make you feel so depressed, because at that point, things are not working here, and things seemingly are working in those things that you're seeing, because people keep posting. I keep joking, how come when you're in Sharks we don't post? But when you're in these other places, to post vitu nyingi. And sometimes it's just a show, because I think that day I was seeing somewhere where these ladies go with many clothes, so they take pictures for each day of the week. And so you can think this person was in Dubai for 1 week, but it was just a one shot somewhere, a photo shoot somewhere. Yes. Na sasa hiyo imekuletea
Pressure.
pressure nyingi, you start feeling bad, so you get depressed.
I saw a clip some time back of a man who was saying how, people keep asking, how are you? We say, okay. And he came online to say, me, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And he started talking about the challenges in his life and the things that are causing him to be depressed.
Yeah.
Now, that is not the part that shook me. The
Yeah.
part that shook me were the comments.
Yes.
And the men in the comments who came out to say, you're not alone. I'm there also. I'm there also. A lot of men. And I keep wondering, is it mental health issues? When we were little, our parents didn't go through mental health issues. Ama ni kwa sababu siku hizi tunajua there's something called mental health issues. Why are they so prevalent in this generation?
I think it's two things. Number one is we were not aware. I was just in the village that day, and I was seeing, there are mad people out there. So probably by the time they get in that place, they began somewhere. But because of that lack of awareness, it deteriorated until now somebody's in the marketplace doing funny things. So I think we're not just aware. Or again, superstition, people will say the name Erogwa. Yeah. There were even cases of suicide, which was a big thing. But they were there, so maybe the awareness wasn't there. But then secondly, I think the pressure now is much more. I don't know if you've seen this demo, even with your kids. Because, my daughter, my son, they tell me things that, for me, I'm thinking, what's that?
Yeah.
But for them, it's the whole world.
Huge. Yes.
Wow.
It's huge. My son that is telling me that, Dad, I need to be here by this time. I need to be here. And I don't have this. And he's 22. And I'm wondering, my friend, some of these things, I got them in my 40s.
Yes.
And it's been a slow progress.
Yes.
Yeah, but for them, they want a car now. So that pressure is what is now causing a lot of problems. So yes, there was the lack of awareness then. It was there, but probably we're not aware. But also to just appreciate that the pressures now are much more. Yeah.
And community, we lived in communities.
Yes, we did.
So there was that thing of once in a while, the Wazees would go hang out somewhere and, just talk about issues and just kind of offload. And then the women also, as they were working in the shamba, they would sing together, which is medicine for the soul. And so there was this thing of community. But today, we go to the office, I'm in my office space, I'm doing my work. After that, I'm fighting the jam to get home. When I get home, it's homework. When I'm done with the homework, there's so much. I need to catch up with my WhatsApp. So I'm on the screen. Then when that is done, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
The following day, the same routine.
Same cycle.
So we don't have that community. We don't have that time to just go out there and hang out with people and just hang out even as a couple.
Yes.
Hang out with another couple. So that you can see that, hey, I'm not alone in this walk of marriage or in this journey of marriage. I'm not alone. There are many who are going through the things or the issues that I'm also going through. So that sense of community, that encouragement, that sense of community encouraging one another helps a lot.
It does.
But if I'm alone, then when I'm going through something or a problem, then I think, wow, I'm the only one who doesn't have this. I'm the only one who goes through this. I'm the only one whose wife or her husband does not know how to communicate with. So you think you are alone. Yet there is no temptation that has come to man that to you that is not common to man. So just having that sense of community, going for seminars, going for fellowship, going out, just seeking out even that information. For those who are watching, that's a good thing because we are talking and we are seeing, wow, these things happen to other people and it's not just us.
Not just us.
Sense of community.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important aspect because we don't have that. We've lost it.
We
become individualistic. I mean, even in church, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I come to a church, if I'm a visitor, I just come out.
Yeah.
The way I came, I go. We're quickly rushing, the second service is coming, you guys get out.
Yes.
So even church has lost, we are just individuals. So that individualistic lifestyle makes us begin to, as Grace is saying, when we're going through challenges, when we're going through those tough things, who do we talk to? You talked about men. And it's serious. I was just coming this morning. I was with my wife and my daughter. And I was just making this joke because sometimes they call me, Dad, tokens are over. And so I was reading about this policeman, I think recently, in Nyatike. He was doing night patrol. They normally go 2 by 2. And so at 3:30 a.m., so he gets a phone call from his wife to go home. So he tells his partner, you just continue, and he goes back home. A few minutes later, the partner hears a gunshot. This guy shot himself.
What?
In front of his wife and kids.
So sad.
So going back, he's saying the wife had called him to tell him tokens imeisha.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't know what else was going on in his mind, you know.
Yes.
I don't know if he had shared with his colleague that he was working with. So as men, we keep a lot within ourselves. Men are especially suffering much more, like you said.
Yes.
Like they said, yeah. We don't have forums where we can talk. Men are very competitive. So I look at JMO, hey, I get depressed. We're not talking. I'm struggling financially. Things are not working in my marriage.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about it. And these things are eating me up, and before long, it becomes a mental health issue.
Could it also be that when that happens, then it spills over to our children?
I think it does.
Because with the way we are handling life today, our behavior as parents, we are stressed. Yes, it's a stressful world, but the way we behave in front of them, that is what they are picking, and they're seeing, wow, this thing, it's really yes, but we are not being shown how to manage it.
Yes.
What we are being shown is that either we fight, we hurl words at each other, we go separate ways. So who is telling the young people that, hey, when things become too much, this is how you sit down and handle the issue?
Yeah.
In the olden days, we had the wazes who would talk to the young men. We had the aunties who would talk to the young
ladies,
girls.
yes.
Even if your mother was not doing it, but your aunties would talk. And just as you are cooking and cleaning up, she'd say, maisha ni ngumu and all that. And you should throw 1 or 2 sentences that would say, oh, okay, this is the way it is. But today, the pressure is too much. And we, as adults, we don't know how to handle that pressure. And so our children are watching us and seeing, when it's too much, hit your wife, or throw something at her, or scream and throw your hands in the air and walk out. So that's the same thing that they're just, picking. And so when they're adults, that's what they will do.
That's what they will do.
And they say that there is no other way of solving or resolving conflict, but, you can't sit down and talk as a family. But then, because even within the family, can we sit down and say, hey, I have noticed 1 or 2 issues with you guys, so what's up? Instead, we are shouting and hurling and they say, oh, that's how we resolve conflict. So history just repeats itself.
Could it be what we said earlier is a part of this equation, because there's the quote that says it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And now, because we've become competitive and individualistic, so even parenting has become a challenge where marriage is concerned.
Yeah, very much so. So we are now doing it alone, and we are struggling. I mean, my heart goes out to single moms who are raising up children, especially now raising up boys.
Yes.
And who is helping them? The other day I was somewhere doing a couples thing in one of the churches, and it was a mixed crowd. It was just couples, and one of the ladies asked, "What about us who have been divorced or widowed?
Yes.
How do we relate to?" Because you see, maybe you used to be in a child, like he's saying, you used to be in a marriage group.
Yes.
And then your husband died.
Your husband died.
So I thought this lady asked, so how do I still continue? And how do I handle the men? Because now the wives become
very suspicious.
Very suspicious. on red alert. Yeah, so, but yes, in the olden days, it was just normal that the man will just come and take care of the brother's wife and the kids. And that, it wasn't even discussed. That was automatic.
Yes.
So there were no orphans per se. There were no kids who will just grow up by themselves. So it's true, they took a whole village to raise a child. Some people today are who they are because of that village. But in this modern world, we are very individualistic. So if you're not there, then my children have to just survive on their own. If as a parents we are struggling with something, there's nobody else that we can talk to. There's nobody else who can, like Grace was saying earlier, who can come and talk to my kids and tell them, hey, my friend, this is how things should be. There's no other older men who will come and walk with the younger men. So that loss of that sense of a village is also part of causing a lot of issues in as far as young people being raised up. So that parenting together with others is very, very critical.
And discipline, sorry to cut. And discipline, because in the olden days, do you remember how if you did something, oh my goodness, before you get home, the slaps that you have received from the adults who are your neighbors, and the pinching of the ears. I mean, your feet are not even touching the ground. You have been pinched. Yes, and that's before you get home. And then they tell you, I will tell your mother. So by the time it is getting to your mother, you are even beaten up. Today, it is who told you to correct my child? Who asked you to? And this child has broken my window or the screen of the car, and you're being told, no, you should not have parked it there. And you're wondering, what? Yani, you're even telling me that in front of your child. That I should not have parked it there. So you need a candle, please, next time. But so the discipline, it took a village to raise a child. But today that village...
the village is normal. There's a video I saw of two mothers fighting. And the fighting was because of their children. It was one of the saddest videos I've ever watched. So same scenario like you're painting. A child alitukana mama ya mtu. Yeah? So this lady was not pleased because it's something that's been going on. So akachuna mtoto wenyewe. So the child ran and told the mother that so-and-so's mom has chunad me. The mother came and started hurling insults to this other woman. How dare you? It got into a physical fight.
Oh no. Wow. Oh no.
By the time it's getting to a physical fight, the child who was pinched, ile matusi inatoka kwa mdomo yake, akitukana huyu mama mwingine, and the mother is there. You're thinking the world is ending.
Oh my.
And I'm thinking now, what kind of generation then are we raising? Because the truth of the matter is, our children are now parents.
Yes.
Yeah. Our children are the ones now getting married.
Yes.
The other day we were at a wedding, and we were with our mutual friend Philip Mwasa.
Yes.
And we were just smiling, thinking, watoto wetu sasa ndio wanasimamia harusi.
Yes.
As in, they are the ones who are, their age mates are getting married.
Yeah.
So I keep wondering, with the way we have parented our children and all these challenges we've gone through, and what we have exposed them to, what technology has exposed them to, what kind of marriages are they going to have?
Imagine, and it could be something as simple, we are having a discussion.
Yeah.
And, maybe my daughter or my son will say, so-and-so did this. You say, that person, why? And you start opening your mouth, speaking negatively about that person. What perception do you have that child? Do you think that child will have of that person?
Yeah.
They will not respect them. Because they say, my parents talk bad about them. So, but I'll say that kids are different. There are those who can pick it up and say, ma'am or dad, what are you doing? Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
I thought she was your friend. So careless talk. There are some things that if that person has done something wrong to you, in your head, keep it to yourself and don't transfer that. Don't transfer your offense to the children and let them carry that offense.
Yeah.
It should not be that way. Yeah. They should look at adults as people who need to be respected. First, respect. Kesi badai. Yeah.
Very true. This individualistic lifestyle that we have developed and the competition, is it also the cause of, I find that today people are very selfish in marriage. It's about me.
Yeah.
You have to make me happy. What are you bringing to the table? And questions like that. So marriage is no longer the space where you are to give to your spouse.
Yes.
But it's what can they give me.
Exactly.
And if they can't give me, why should I stay?
Yeah, it's what we call WIIFM. What is the need for me? And it's very sad because now we have a strong sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
So people are coming now into marriage based on what can I get out of it.
What am I getting?
Not what am I coming to give. And this is causing a lot of issues because if I'm not getting what I came in hoping to get, then it's very easy for me to back out. We think about us. I'm no longer happy. I'm no longer getting my freedom.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go and do me, and that selfishness, to some extent, is what is now destroying the marriage. There's a place of us being independent, not only independent, but separate individuals within the union.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But now when we go to another extreme where now we have become so individualistic and completely independent of each other, that's a danger. Then why are the two one? So we end up living separate lives, but also end up just thinking about ourselves and not considering the other person. Where is the place for sacrifice?
Yeah.
Where is the place for giving? Where is the place for just being, like the Bible says, do not just consider the other person's interest.
Yeah.
Yes. So where is that? If we're just thinking about me, I, and myself.
Where is the place of interdependence? Because when we get married, we come in as independent people.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens is that one tends to now depend on the other one. And mostly it's the woman who will now tend to depend on the husband. And so there is a shadow. You know, it's like the two becoming one.
Yeah.
The understanding of two becoming one is that one has been swallowed by another.
Yes.
Which should not be, because you're still two individuals.
Yeah.
You have your personalities, you have you're different in very many ways. So it is one and one. So as you come together, there is that, instead of you being dependent on one another, there is the interdependence. That means that Barnabas can depend on me, and I can also depend on him, because we are not the same.
Yeah.
There are strengths that he brings to this marriage. There are strengths that I bring to the marriage. So the thing of just being either independent, because that's the other danger of being independent, and I don't want anything to do with Barnabas.
Yeah.
It's my money. It is me. It is my house. I'm done paying mortgage. It is my... So that my. You know, instead of seeing that there is something that Barnabas also brings into the marriage, and there's something that I also bring. It is my opinions. My opinions must be heard. Yes, it's true, but you're putting it on the table. He's also putting his opinions on the table. Let us negotiate. So it is us being interdependent and not independent, so that we do not, it's not being individualistic, so that it is not about me and just about you, but we have come together and we are making something good out of it.
I feel like sometimes in this generation, people want the benefits of marriage, but the responsibility and the work that needs to be put into marriage, people don't want that part. So out here, I want to live like a single person, because it's about me.
Yes.
And what makes me happy, and I'm out with my friends, and I'm doing this and I'm doing this. But if my spouse says anything about it, it's an issue.
Yes.
Yeah. I still want to have a spouse.
Yes.
But I still want to live like a single person.
Yes.
I want to go out with the boys. I want to do this. I want to make some financial decisions without consultation. Nastaki kuulizwa.
Yeah.
But things changed. You're not single.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I asked them, Jemo, then why did you get married? You should have continued living single, because now there nobody asks you where are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, you're independent and you're living your own life. But the moment you decide, and I think that's where people have to now realize, what am I committing myself to? It's a decision you're making, and you're committing yourself to living your life, sharing a life with this other person.
Yes.
And if you're not ready for that, then don't get married. Yeah, for the single people out there.
Yeah.
Just are things that you need to ask yourself.
to ask,
critically.
yeah.
Don't just get married because society is saying get married, but Have you internalized that? Have you asked yourself, why am I getting married? Am I ready now to share my life with somebody else?
Very true.
You know, I'm smiling because when I got married, I think I came into marriage with that independent spirit.
Oh.
And you know, there are times when Barnabas would wear my, sharing is caring. So he would wear my, my T-shirt, and I'm like, Allah, that's my T-shirt. You have your own T-shirts. Why are you wearing my T-shirt? And he's like, I thought we are supposed to be sharing. Say, yes, but that's my T-shirt. I'll wear it next Saturday.
Yeah.
So I had to. The point that I'm bringing in is that we grow into certain things because we get married, but we are still babies.
Yes,
we are still children, and we are very immature. You're fighting over a T-shirt, which you can go and buy for me 5 more. But then I'm just thinking, no, it's mine. So we are like little children. It's mine. Don't touch my things. It's it's mine. So you grow in marriage, and you come to a place where whether you wear that T-shirt, that is yours. It is okay. Yeah. It's our jacket. Yeah. It's our thing. So it just hit me that yes, when I got into marriage, I was that little girl who was, and thank you for giving me the room to grow, because marriage also makes you grow.
It makes you grow.
It makes you grow.
Yeah,
you're not thinking of it's just it's not just my family. I am now married into a bigger family. It's not just my things. Of course, there are boundaries. I'm not saying that we don't have boundaries. But then again, if there are boundaries, talk about them. And how important are those boundaries to you? And where are those boundaries coming from?
Yeah.
Is it just that I still have some little foolishness in me that needs to be driven out as a child? Or is it that something happened along the way and that triggers another thing? Yeah.
Okay. We are on the Relationship Clinic, part 2 of a conversation we began last week, challenges of modern day marriages. What are some of the challenges you're seeing in the marriages you look at today? Maybe it's your own marriage, maybe it's your friend's marriage, people in church, people you work with. What are some of the challenges you see people facing? Maybe you can share those with us on 20316 for SMS and WhatsApp 0786 316 316. We talk to people in the streets and we ask them the same question, and let's listen to some of the comments that came through.
Many marriage partners for now do not have that faithfulness. So I think that is the major reason why marriages are going down. Nowadays, you are having a lot of cases of, what do we call? When you divorce, divorce cases are many. I think majorly it's because faithfulness is not applied.
The greatest challenge, I think one is options. There are too many options and people are forgetting their values. Yeah, it's sort of like, I want pleasure. And at the end of the day, you're forgetting who you are, what you stand for. So I think it's just like there's demoralization in the society today more than it was in the past.
Actually, to the 23rd generation, the first and very greatest challenge to marriage is one, drug abuse. Most of women and men these days are engaged in drugs simply because of depressions and maybe life concerns. 2 is mistrust. These days, women actually are playing men. Mostly women are playing men. And that is what makes up another challenge.
Kwangu mimi, ni issue ya simu bana. Manze, simu yako ni yako tu. Wanaume simu yako ni yako. Hata bibi umpenda aje usimpe simu. Simu mimi kuna siku niliwacha hapo simu yangu. Bibi yangu akashika simu, mimi niko kwa bafu. Nikirudi, unajua alikuwa ashapika. Natoka kuoga, nikirudi napata mwanamke anashapen kisu, anaimbanga tu kifo akina huruma. Sasa challenge yenye kwa ndoa saa hii ni simu.
Challenges of modern day marriages. In studio with me, an amazing couple who love marriages and help a lot of people where marriages are concerned. By the way, if you're looking for a marriage coach and you need a marriage coach, talk to these guys. they will help you. Pastor, Ita to Kanisani, they move around in many churches just talking to couples about relationships. So if you're a pastor, if you have a group, marriage group that you meet, invite Leah Chokis. You will thank me later.
Thank you, James.
Yes. I'm just thinking about, earlier on you mentioned something about pressure. And I think this generation has a lot more pressure than the way things were back then. I remember having a conversation with somebody and I was telling them, the more choices you have, the more pressure you have.
Yes.
You don't know which way to go. If you only have a choice of two, it's easy.
Yes.
If you have no choice, it's just one direction, you just keep moving.
Exactly.
But if you have 15, I mean, sometimes going to the supermarket to buy bread need pressure.
Kabisa.
There are like 15 brands. Which one do I buy? I don't know if the way life is bringing a lot of pressure into marriages, and that is something we can consider as a challenge in this modern age.
I like it when you said that, the more you have, the more pressure you have. Because even for us ladies, I mean, the more clothes you have, the more pressure you have. Because you're like, I wore this last week, I wore this. So there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But if you had fewer clothes, then you just, pick very quickly and go. So it's true, there's a lot of pressure that is out there. And one of the pressures that we have seen, in marriages today is financial pressure. Where the men are going through it. Okay, they are going through it as a family, but the greater weight the bigger weight is carried by the man.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the man says that there is no money, the woman understands, but she doesn't understand. I'll explain that. The man may, sit down with his wife and tell him that, hey, babe, right now there's no money and all that. And the woman is hearing, she's hearing, but maybe she's not listening and tuning in. So 5 minutes later, she says, hey, by the way, there's no sugar in this house. When was the last time that we bought sugar? When was the last time we bought this? Or when was the last, why didn't you come with sugar? You should have just passed the supermarket. And 5 minutes earlier, the husband had talked about sugar. So the man is so agitated. No, we were talking about that, off the screen, how this other man was very agitated and maybe he shot himself, not because of the talking, but other underlying issues.
Other underlying issues, yeah.
So the man is so agitated and wondering, woman, didn't you hear what I told you about this, that I don't have money?
Yeah.
But it's the way we hear things. We need to learn to hear not just what you're saying, but what you're not saying.
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
and apply some wisdom.
And sometimes I wonder, just looking at the scenario that you've painted, Grace, I wonder why, may that be one of the reasons why sometimes as men, we don't open up to some of the things we are going through at home. Because you wonder, will they even listen? Will they even understand? Yeah? If I'm hanging out with the boys out there and I say, hey, mazee budget imeharibika, things are tight. Yeah? The boys will encourage me, hata mtu anaweza kudunga kathao. Pelekea watoi maziwa home. Because they understand. I don't have to say much. They understand. I don't know what you think, Barnabas. Sometimes I wonder if that is the scenario sometimes men face, that you're not comfortable saying some things at home.
Yeah, I think is two things. One is we kind of like want to protect our wives, so we don't want to show them how bad the situation is, because that can just cause a panic.
Yes.
I think when it comes to some of those areas, they're not wired like we are to carry the burden we carry. But secondly, it could be that they will not understand. And not because they don't want to understand. You see, I've said this many times.
Yeah.
When a woman is going, sometimes Grace has come and told me some things, and I can't feel her. I can't locate her just because I'm a man. So I think this is why, again, going back to that village, that's why it's important that we also have close people from the same sex.
Yeah.
Recently, I was going through something and financial, big burden. And I would tell Grace, and I could tell she's not, and so I was getting upset. And And it was affecting our marriage. And one day it just dawned on me, she will never understand the weight I'm carrying.
Yeah.
I need to talk to another man, because then they understand. And so when I come and talk to you, Jim, and say, this is what I'm feeling, you can feel me.
Yeah.
In fact, I talk to another man and he could automatically feel
Yes.
me. That I understand. I know what this means. And so as men, we need to have those men friends that we can go to and talk about these things. I think Grace said earlier, no temptation has overcome me that is not common to man.
To man, yeah.
Yeah, so, and these pressures are not just financial. They are also pressures of other relationships.
Of other relationships, yes.
That day, a friend, a guy, he called me. He's a good friend, a good husband. And he told me, hey, I've realized I'm getting attracted to one of the ladies we work with. So I just want you to hold me accountable. And for me,
that's a wise man.
That's a wise man.
Yes.
Because already there,
Yeah.
the issue, half the problem has been solved. So there are those pressures, because now, like we said, I think last time,
Yeah.
just in this modern day, the women have become empowered in every way.
In every way.
In every way. You know,
Yes.
before your Jemu, to tune a lady was, I don't use that word they use nowadays.
Yes. They don't use that word now.
Yeah, I don't know which one they use now.
don't-
Yeah, whatever that word is. To get a lady was, I mean, tunajichocha, unapanga mstari. I mean, it was, the chase was something.
Yeah.
Today, it's them chasing you.
Yes.
So that in itself is a pressure, especially if you're married, because there's this person and she's available, she's offering herself to you. How do you manage that? So we need then to, and you can't go and tell your wife that, because your wife will start following you to the office. Yeah,
Exactly.
you know, the moment you share that with your wife, she has got the whole yard.
There's one time we were having this conversation with my wife.
Yeah.
And I told her, you know, sometimes you ladies amaze me.
Yeah.
And I asked her, do you think that as men, we are helpless when it comes to other attractive women? It's like you need to protect me.
Yeah.
It's like you're afraid so-and-so will do this and so-and-so will do this.
Yeah.
Is it that you think that when a beautiful woman appears, network yangu inapotea? I don't know right from wrong, I'll just be swept away.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the reactions, the things that sometimes I hear women say, I keep wondering, see, that's a man.
Yeah.
Mtu mzima. And he made a decision to marry you. And he's a faithful man.
Yeah.
Where is all this coming from?
Yeah.
Why do you think that suddenly, because a girl passed by in a tight skirt,
Yeah.
he will forget everything he's ever been committed to, and he'll be bewitched and follow that woman everywhere? I have never understood. Grace, maybe you can explain to me. I have never understood. We had that conversation, and I was just asking my wife, Ebu, explain to me like a child, because I really don't understand.
It's just being different.
Eh.
It's just being different. It's the way we would look at things is very different from the way you would look at things. It's just like what Barnabas is saying. When it comes to finances, you think we don't understand. You think that when I'm going through this financial thing, you're really not understanding me. But truth be said, yes, it's better for you to talk to another man who will understand you.
Yeah.
It's just like when the ladies are going through labor pains. Ata akwambie aje, you will not understand.
Yeah.
You will not understand.
I have no point of reference.
You have no point of reference.
Yes.
You know. So when you talk to the ladies about, you know, when you say that the ladies are not understanding that particular aspect of now the attraction, it's because we are just different. We're just different. That's for us the thing that comes in, and the way we have been socialized is that men cheat. So you're looking at that person and you're saying, but my husband is also a man. And not the way we can say man. You know, it all comes from the things that we hear also.
Yes.
When a man looks at a woman, you know, there's this and that. So they feel, so when my husband is taking a long, not a second look, but a long look, what is going on through his mind?
Yeah.
Because that is what went through his mind when he was trying to tune me, going back there. So could it be that, yes, now we are together, but he's not very satisfied with me. So now you really need to be a woman who is secure, knowing that, hey, I satisfy my husband. Before my husband, I am really, you know, or in front of him, I am still that woman that he chose and he loves. Yes, he may look, but looking doesn't mean that he's going, because macho hazina pasia. The eyes have no curtains.
And here we are just talking about a normal look. We are not talking about gazing.
No.
Like David at the balcony. That's not what
we are not talking about
lest some husbands say, but they said on the show it is okay to look.
We are not talking about King Dave and Shebi.
No, we are not talking. We are just talking about kawaida.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and Jemo, I think one of the things that I have a grace is saying that women are insecure by nature.
By nature.
That's why they need to be secured. So when they see that, you see, for her, maybe she's given birth, bonga points image, anza kuongezeka, this lady babies. So that's what she's, you know, ladies take everything personal. You know, for you as a man, very logical, she can tell you about a guy, and you even would think, your mind would go there.
Yeah, thinking like,
unless
what's
there's
the
history.
Unless there's history.
Unless there's history.
Yes.
Or maybe where something that can come close to that is if it's something about finances. Like if she said, hey, imagine so-and-so bought for their wife this. Now, a man, you can
Now
get
you're reading
agitated.
between the lines,
Yes,
yes.
now you start saying, so you start saying you're comparing me. So that can be.
Yes.
So for them, I think is how they look. So when they see you as a husband look, and it look that way, they may feel that level of insecurity because now they start, you know, it becomes personal.
Yeah.
Maybe because now I'm fat, I'm not no longer this size, I'm this and this, maybe she's more beautiful. You know, all those things, especially if you have not been told her of late that she's beautiful.
Yes.
Or if you've commented, because sometimes husbands also comment. These days, my dear, things are, the dresses are not fitting you.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
Yeah.
That the dresses are not fitting you, the zips are busting. What are you
saying?
saying? And then you have a long gaze. So and that long gaze looks like the dress has just fitted. You know, it is just fitting and very nice, and the shape is just what you used to be.
What you used to be. Yes.
And so that insecurity, going back to what I said earlier, if you came home, because attractions do happen.
Yeah.
Is what you do with attraction.
It is what you do with it, yes.
It's like attraction, yeah. So if as a man you told your wife, I was attracted to a lady in the office, you know, for her, that insecurity now makes her think you've already slept with this lady, or you're already talking to this lady.
Yes.
You know, but when it comes to talk to a man, then a man can be able to understand and say, you know, those things happen, but this is how you handle it.
This is how you handle it.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about infidelity, because I think it's also become quite an issue with this generation. I was watching a video the other day, and this lady was saying, wait, the amount of married people who are just sleeping Paragasha is unbelievable. And she was talking about the place where she works and how everybody is sleeping with everybody, and it's not a big deal. Yeah.
Dissatisfaction. One of the things is dissatisfaction. When you feel that maybe there are things, and I'm not advocating for infidelity. I'm just saying that when needs are not met in a relationship, in a couple, then they think that I can get this need better out there, met out there.
Okay.
So you're dissatisfied. It could be in area of emotions, it could be sexually, you know, physically, it could be in many areas. But if you feel that need, this is something that you've even sat as a couple and you're talking and you're talking and you're talking and you're talking, and things are not happening, things are not moving, then in your mind you begin to feed something that if only I went out, maybe it is different out there. That's number one. The other one is when there's been history. You know, could be there was infidelity that happened. You know, maybe your partner went out. So the revenge. I want to also revenge. So slowly, yes, because at that time, if you're not getting help, everything within you says, I want him or I want her to go through the pain that I'm going through. So you remember, you're not in your right state of mind. So you go out there and you know, you're very vulnerable. You let yourself go. And before you know it, the two of you are on the same page. Now, his or hers, the first person who did it will be forgotten. Now yours is the one that is trending. You see, but it's because at that time when you're vulnerable, you didn't take measure. You didn't take care of yourself. You are not, there wasn't that self-awareness that I'm also very, very vulnerable. And I can go out and do things that I'm thinking I'm hurting him, but I'm hurting myself because I'm getting into a hole. So people are dissatisfied in marriage. There is the resolving of conflict is not taking place.
Yeah.
You know, the right way of resolving conflict.
Yes.
So I think when we are having a tiff here, and maybe Barnabas is not listening to me, or I'm not listening to Barnabas, and somebody else out there is listening to you and giving you all that time.
Yes.
You're wondering, yeah, okay. No, the other day I took an Uber home, and this Uber guy, when he came to the office, Barnabas wasn't around. I think he had traveled. He opened the door. I said, this is new. I got in. So when I, just started engaging me in the conversation. Hey, how was your day? How was it? How is business? And he just went on and on and engaging. And then now when I was just about to let said, it's okay, you have a good evening and all that. And he said, I'll wait here until you go in.
What?
And I was like, hey, daughter of a Harry, you better take care. You better take care.
Yeah.
Because, just getting to know about the day and all that. I mean, you're talking. I mean, people want to talk. But now when he said that, I was like, what? And this person has my number from the... Said, no. Said, no, I can take care of myself. It is okay. You can leave. But could be he was just trying to be, just PR. But then I can take it into another... If my needs are not being met here, I can take it to another... It starts in a very subtle way.
Yes.
I can take it to another level just say, by the way, I got home safely and my husband has come back from safari. Foolish woman.
But then I'm wondering, the whole issue of the grass being greener on the other side, the perception that the grass is greener on the other side because of back to technology, social media, a lot of information, and people nowadays are not shy to share about their sexuality, about their sexual life. And so sometimes as a married couple, maybe one spouse feels like, so you want to go out there and experiment. Because also we have people who, I don't want your money, I don't want to be your wife. We just...
I don't want a relationship.
Yeah, I don't want a relationship.
It's just a sexual relationship.
And what we have to understand, Jemo, is in these modern times, if had somebody help me understand, he said that, we moved from a place where we're talking about sex. For the woman, it was something they did for the man. Full stop. We are now coming to an age of sexual equality. So women know what it means to enjoy sex. Now, with that, then the pressure is there. And then we live in a highly sexualized society now.
Yes.
So, and the awareness that we are talking about here. So people now are becoming more aware of their needs, even in terms of romance. I mean, our mothers, the things our wives complain about, our mothers never complained about them.
In fact, if you tell your mother, they're thinking, what's wrong with you?
They will tell you, you too?
You too.
Yes. But our wives are more, and the younger, this generation are even more aware.
Exactly.
Yes.
Of certain things. So now that's how the needs become heightened. And the grass being greener now looks that way because now, hey, if I'm not getting this here, probably I can get it there.
I can get it there.
Yeah, and what we fail to understand, again, this is the whole deception, like this taxi man that Grace is talking about, the Uber person, is that, and I've seen it everywhere, we can be very good to other people than our spouses.
Than our spouses.
Yeah. But I'm sure this guy will not tell the wife the same things. Just like I know some men who, the other day I used to, when I was working, so this guy was calling, he called this lady, a very sweet name, a colleague, we were just colleagues. So I asked him, hey, is that how you call your wife? And he laughed. Because I was really, hey, wow. So is that how you call your wife? So so that's a deception that is there. So in the office, now we are spending more time with each other in the office.
Kuna office husband na office wife.
Because your boss is not going to, he's not a church, he's not a pastor. Assignment, with Elizabeth. And now for the rest of the week, maybe even you have traveled together, you're using the same car, you booked the same hotel. So these things, the exposure is so much.
Yes.
So that calls us.
And people now begin to share and begin to talk, and as people talk, then they sometimes don't know where the boundaries are. They begin to share their own struggles.
Yes.
They begin to share their own problems, and they become fast. It begins with an emotional connection before even the sexual happens. Yeah.
So that calls us back to communication.
Communication.
We really need to communicate.
Yeah.
If you feel that there are things that you're dissatisfied about, I need to talk to Barnabas and tell him, not in a way of accusing him of not being a good husband, or in a way of accusing the other person of not being a good spouse, but letting them know that I'm struggling.
Yeah.
There is this deficit in our marriage, and it's really causing me to, to struggle. That's number one. Number two, have another friend that you can talk to.
Yes.
Your VIP. Who is your VIP? Who is that person that you can bounce things on and they keep it in confidence, not being put in the WhatsApp groups as a prayer item, but being somebody that you can trust.
You can trust.
And they can hold you in that in confidence and also just talk to you and encourage you. Because if we are not communicating, then knowing that you are very vulnerable. You'll go out there and you'll find you'll find a world that is waiting to embrace you.
Yes.
So how am I dealing with that stuff? Am I ignoring it and just saying, it can't happen. It will never get better. It will never. Have you given up on your marriage?
Yeah.
Have you given up on that relationship? If our marriage was not working at that time, maybe I would have contemplated on, let me just move on. And it becomes now a habit, and before I know it, I'm pouring my emotions and everything else to this guy.
Yeah.
You see, because he's also a man. You see, the people that he meets are also ladies just like me.
Yeah.
And they may even have sweeter words. So how are we dealing with it in between us? Are we talking? Are we resolving those conflicts that are between us, or are we just sweeping things under the carpet and letting it go?
Wow. Wakati umekwisha.
Wow. Yeah.
Our time is up.
Yeah.
We should have a conference.
Yes.
One of these days.
Yes.
We do the relationship clinic on location.
On location.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watu wakuje tuwatibu vizuri.
And I think the things that we are talking about are pertinent. And sometimes these things, but the affairs don't happen because things are not happening at all.
No.
Even at a good space, it can still happen.
It can still happen.
So it's just that awareness and to know that it's a deception.
Yes.
The grass, just as we say, the grass always looks greener on the other side.
And as Grace said, maybe it's growing with sewage.
Yes.
And you have no idea. My friend, my time is up. I hope that you've been able to gain something from this conversation. Challenges that marriages are facing in this generation. And now that you have information, then you can fortify your marriage. I usually tell people we put burglar-proof grills on doors and windows, not on walls. Why? Because we know that window and the door are the weak entry points that the enemy may come through. And so once we know the weak entry points where our marriage is concerned, it is up to us to reinforce them, to be very deliberate. Put a burglar-proof apple. Where communication is concerned, enhance it. That is how we build strong marriages. Until next week, do have a great week, and may the Lord bless you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are blessed by the content that we gave you today. To ensure that you don't miss out on such great content, I would ask you to please subscribe to our channel and also hit the notification button so that when we post a new video, you'll be able to know. And also feel free to share and also comment on our videos. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.